Okay, so we'll continue to go through the meanings of the Slokams in Lakshmi Ashtottaram from the introductory part of the Stotram. We'll continue with Slokam 5. Samasta deva samsevyam animadyashta siddhidam. Samasta deva samsevyam. These 108 names are worshipped by all the celestial gods. Samasta, all. Deva, the celestial gods. Samsevyam, they worship these 108 names. Animadyashta siddhidam. These names give the 8 siddhis, the Ashta siddhis, which are supernatural powers, starting with the first power, which is called Anima. Later on, I'll go over what these Ashta siddhis are. Kimatra bhaunoktena devi pratyaksha dayakam. Kimatra bhaunoktena. Why should more be said here than saying that Devi Pratyaksha Dayakam? It gives the vision of the goddess directly. So Lord Shiva in the previous slokams had said that by chanting these 108 names, all the types of poverty are removed, all sins are removed, and you get all Aishwaryam. So here he finally says, Devi Pratyaksha Dayakam. It gives you the vision of the goddess directly. Now this Kimatra Bhaunoktena is a sort of a figure of speech, and probably the meaning of this can more easily be understood if you translate it to Tamil. So, இது என்ன சொல்லுனா 108 நாமங்கள் சொன்னா தேவி பிரத்யக்ஷ தாயகம், தேவியே உனக்கு கிடைக்கும், தேவியே வந்து அவ காட்சி தருவா, உனக்கு தேவியே கிடைக்கும். கிமத்ர பகுனோக்தேன, இதுக்கு மேல என்ன இருக்கு சொல்லறதுக்கு? That's what கிமத்ர பகுனோக்தேன. ஸோ இது மேலே என்ன இருக்கு சொல்கிறதுக்கு? இந்த 108 நாமங்கள் சொன்னால் தேவி பிரத்யக்ஷ தாயகம், தேவியே உனக்கு கிடைப்பா, தேவியே வருவா, அதுதான் இதோட அர்த்தம். So I mentioned the Ashta Siddhis. These are the 8 supernatural powers. So let's look at what they are. The first one, which was mentioned in the Slokam, is Anima, which is the ability to reduce one's body to the size of an atom. Second is the opposite, Mahima, the ability to increase one's body to an infinitely large size. Garima, the ability to make the body infinitely heavy in weight. And the opposite, Lagima, which is the ability to make the body infinitely light in weight. Fifth Siddhi is Prapti, ability to acquire anything, anywhere. Prakamya, the ability to attain anything that one desires. Ishatva, the absolute lordship over everything in creation. And the 8th Siddhi is Vashitva, the ability to bring others under one's control. So these are the Ashta Siddhis, the 8 supernatural powers. Now the one who had these 8 supernatural powers was Hanuman. And Lakshmi, in the form of Mother Sita, granted the boon to Hanuman that he would be the bestower of Ashta Siddhis. And those of you who know Hanuman Chalisa would be familiar with this verse, the 31st verse. Ashta Siddhi Navanidhike Data Asabaradina Janaki Mata. Mother Sita, the daughter of Janak, granted you the boon that you will be the bestower of the 8 supernatural powers and the 9 forms of wealth. So all this Ashta Siddhi Navanidhi all comes from Lakshmi, from Tayar, and she has gave that boon to Hanuman that he will be the bestower of these Ashta Siddhis and Navanidhis. So summarizing Slokam 5 again, the meaning. The 108 names are worshipped by all the celestial gods, and it gives the 8 Siddhis, the 8 supernatural powers. Why should more be said here than saying that these 108 names are the giver of the direct vision of the goddess Lakshmi? Slokam 6. Tava prityadi vaksyami samahita mana shrunu. Tava prityadya, for your pleasure now. Now, of course, this is being addressed to Parvati Devi. Tava prityadya, for your pleasure now. Vaksyami, I will tell. Samahita mana shrunu. Shrunu, listen. With what? A samahita manaha. That is, with a very concentrated mind, a steadfast mind. to Ashtottara Shatasyasya, the 108 names of Mahalakshmi, Mahalakshmistu Devata, of the goddess Mahalakshmi. Lord Shiva, addressing Parvati Devi, says, "For your pleasure, I will now tell the 108 names of goddess Mahalakshmi. Listen to them with a concentrated mind." Slokam 7. KLÍM BÍJAPADAMITYUKTAM Shaktistu Bhuvaneshwari. For this Lakshmi Ashtottara Shatanama Stotram, KLÍM BÍJAPADAM Ityuktam. The seed word is KLÍM. Now, you know, all these mantrams, they have these seed words. And the seed word for this Lakshmi Ashtotram is KLÍM. Shaktistu Bhuvaneshwari. The underlying power is Bhuvaneshwari. Anganyasa Karanyasaha Sa Ityadi Prakirtitaha. Anganyasaha, the installation of the deity in the parts of the body. Karanyasaha, the installation of the deity in the parts of the hand. Sa Ityadi Prakirtitaha, or well stated. Now, in order to understand the meaning of the slokam, you need to have a little background on what is Nyasa. Nyasa, all rituals in Hinduism start with a beautiful function, the installation of the Lord in the devotee's own physical form. This is technically called as Anganyasa, the installation in the limbs, and Karanyasa, the installation in the hand. This is a method by which the seeker, with willful thoughts and deliberate physical signs, sanctifies himself to be a divine temple and installs the various sacred deities in himself. So an example of this Anganyasa is for those who do Gayatri Mantram, either do Sandhya Vandanam or when you change your sacred thread. Before you say the mantram, you take your 3 forefingers and you touch your head and you mention the Rishi, right? And then you take the 3 forefingers and you touch the mouth and you mention the meter of the mantram. And then you take those 4 fingers and touch your heart and mention the devata or the deity that is being worshipped. This is as part of this Anganyasa, right? And Karanyasa is all these movements of the hands. I've shown some examples here. And next time, you know, whenever you do a puja or a homam, you'll notice the priest in the beginning will do this Anganyasa and Karanyasa. If you observe, he'll do these motions of touching parts of his body and also motion of the hands, clapping the hands and waving the hands and all that. All this is part of this Nyasa procedure. Now, if you remember in Vishnu Sahasranamam, we went over this. There was an elaborate section for Nyasa, and we went over this when we had that. For example, the Nyasa portion in Vishnu Sahasranamam starts with Asya Shri Vishnu Divya Sahasranama Stotra Mahamantrasya Shri Vedavyaso Bhagavan Rishihi. So that mentions a Rishi. The equivalent procedure in the Nyasa is to touch the forehead. Anushtup Chandaha, which is the meter, which is in Vishnu Sahasranamam is written. The procedure in Nyasa is to touch the mouth. Sri Krishna Paramatma Sriman Narayano Devata, you touch the heart. And then it goes on for all these portions. And you can see there are various parts of the body being touched where you are installing the deity in those parts, as well as things like clapping the hands and snapping the fingers. So this is all part of the Nyasa procedure. And it's detailed, very detailed in Vishnu Sahasranamam. In Lakshmi Ashtottaram, it is not as elaborately detailed as in Vishnu Sahasranamam. The Bijam, the seed, and the Shakti are mentioned. KLÍM BÍJAPADAMITYUKTAM Shaktistu Bhuvaneshwari. So the seed is KLÍM and the power is Bhuvaneshwari. But the other aspects of Anga and Karanyasa in Lakshmi Ashtottaram are mentioned overall as being well stated and they're not detailed out. So that's why it says Anganyasa Karanyasaha Sa Ityadi Prakirtitaha. So these are well spelled out. So that is the background to understand the meaning of the last slokam in the introductory part. So that concludes. So I'll go over the meaning again. Slokam 7. For the Lakshmi Ashtottara Shatanama Stotram, the seed, Bijam word is KLÍM and the power, Shakti, is Bhuvaneshwari. The installation of the deity in parts of the body and in parts of the hand are well stated. So with that concludes the introductory part, the 7 slokams of the Lakshmi Ashtottaram.
Samasta deva samsevyam siddhidam kimatra bahunoktena devi pratyakshadayakam tava prityadi vaksyami samahitamana shrunu Ashtottara shatasya mahalakshmi stu devata KLÍM BÍJAPADAMITYUKTAM shaktistu bhuvaneshwari anganyasah karanyasah sa ityadi prakirtitah.